Those in chat, give me a couple seconds. Just doing the social media stuff, as always. Um, I should create a script or something to automate this stuff. Social. All right, got that. All good there. All right, let's get started. Close all that up. About the stream. Yeah, oh, that looks good. Okay, so here is where I'm at now. So I have trajectories that you can specify. So there, the militia the Marines. I'll call them coin throwers. Um, you get into their sight range. So yellow's warning, and then the moment it hits red, you get shot in the face, which is good. That part's working. And of course, you fly off the edge, so I need to work through the camera stuff. Uh, you don't die. You just get pushed back, but you really should die. And then you can shoot them. You end up killing yourself. You can actually pull a coin and hit yourself in the face, which isn't good. But you just have to be aware of it, I guess. And this should work, hopefully. Nope. Missed. Right there. Line of sight was good there. And so this is it's like kind of off, so you can pick up the coin. And then you can drop it. So let's say like I want to be right here. You drop the coin like that and then shoot right in the back. So that part all works. Yeah, notifications of things like inventory, contextual stuff, like what coins you have currently in your inventory, some means of actually knowing that these things are coins. I need to do line of sight, and I need walls. I think that's what I'm gonna work on next, is walls. It kind of looks okay. Looks good enough, I guess. Steel pull. I can do like cool particle effects and whatnot. That'd be something that I'd want to add at some point. Pick a coin. Pick a coin. Pick that coin up. And that one. Camera is the other thing, right? I want to be able to, if I move up, then it moves the camera, keeps it centered. Bottom left hand corner is 0, 0. I think that's okay. If I'll generalize the camera to deal with the boundaries later. So before that, aside from that, I'll just potentially just have it center on the player. Maybe. Hey, donut, put me on pizza. Oh, do not put me on pizza. Wait, donut put me on pizza or do not put me on pizza? If are you pineapples? Are you pineapple? Because then I agree with you. Definitely no pineapple on the pizzas. That's like a war crime. Uh, Plan to post the VOD, like the recording of this. I think Twitch will have it for the most part. I could upload it to YouTube. It's I guess for Twitch it's kind of weird because it's really unstructured. Would you really put donuts on a pizza? There you go. Answered. Answered. I mean, there's dessert pizzas, right? You've got dessert pizzas. That's a thing. All right, walls. So let's say I want a wall at 0, 0, y is 0, and it will be a horizontal wall. Do I even have that working? Hey, look at that. I do have walls rendering at this point. And the player should not be inside of the wall. Put the player at 3-3. I personally have never had donut pizza, pizza donut pizza stuff. My favorite toppings are uh, ground beef, black olives, and extra cheese. That's like my go-to. I'll do buffalo chicken also, buffalo chicken pizza. But yeah, those are my toppings. I'm definitely not a pineapple person. I think it's good to upload somewhere, good material for other people interested in the engine. Yeah, it's always tricky. Like trying to find the sweet spot of here's some here's what the engine does, but this is not really a what you call it, like a tutorial video. And with regards to that, it's like attention span's rough. So like here we haven't we looked at a little bit of code in the engine, but for someone that's really interested in saying, okay, well, what is this engine capable of? They have to hunt and peck, or there has to be some curation on my end. But you're right. I think like at a minimum, just uploading it's not going to hurt anything. So I'll make sure to download this from Twitch and then upload it. But yeah, that's always a tough nut to crack with respect to how do you convey and communicate what the engine does and everything. All right, so the wall is there. Um, for wall definitions, I don't want to have to like whatchamacallit, define each cell for the wall. I mean, I guess I could, but like from a structural or DSL standpoint, let's start with that for now. I don't like it. Right, so yeah, because it's gonna get just so long. Uh, all right, we have a wall, and I want to see if I can bounce a coin off of it. So let's add 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, that looks good. Can you all see the I guess the game preview well enough? Can you put a length parameter on the in the hash? Yeah, I can do something like uh so this is like a horizontal wall and then like an end X was kind of what I was thinking, exactly what you were talking about. Um, but then I have to update the rendering pipeline to say, well, if you see a H wall, then look for a length property and then extrapolate the tiles to render based on that length property. So definitely would want to do that, but then the question is like, should I should I just pound it out for now? I'd want a visual editor at that point, and then saving and loading. I don't care about the repetition, right? Because I'm not manually typing anymore. I just would highlight start to end, and it could extrapolate these specific values there. But we'll start with this. I just want to see if I can get the bouncing mechanic in place first. All right, so we have a wall, and so that's a coin right there. So if I push the coin, it doesn't bounce off the wall, which is what I expected. So if I go to objects, all right, so this is all the object logic. So let me go ahead and do a let's see. Tick objects. I need to rename that to coins. I was gonna have a generic like objects like keys and stuff like that. How do you vape and code at the same time? What is your secret? Uh, my secret is my inability to cope with stress and have unhealthy coping mechanisms such as a vape. It's horrible. I have to be better about it. I used to say, uh, I did tobacco, smoked tobacco before this, and I was like, ah, this is my retirement plan. I'm not gonna try to save up anything. I'm just gonna try to get lung cancer and die. It was like, whoa, that's morbid and dark. Um, Started developing like a really bad cough. That's when I went to vape, and I need to do some form of cessation around it. But horrible coping mechanism. Must find healthier ways to do those things. So tick. So there'll be tick objects. Tick objects. Yeah. So surprisingly, I don't drink any alcohol. I rarely drink. I'll have like uh martini here and there if I'm out with a group of friends and on a vacation or something. Um, Coffee. I had a coffee machine that was really good, and then it broke, and I have to get it fixed. And I've been having to get it fixed for about 2 years now, so that's not happening anytime soon. So there you have it. That's so my picker upper is I guess the vape itself. All right, so state.objects. I want to call the state.coins. Do I want to refactor this now, or do I want to get the ricochet working first and then refactor? Because I'd rather fix the engine than fix the coffee. Exactly. There's one repair place that fixes the damn coffee machine. It's like 40 miles away. So I have to like go to this place, take it to this one specific certified place to get it repaired, and it's really annoying. I'm so dedicated to this. Must get it working. All right. Where was I? Something to do with objects, right? Tick underscore objects. There it is. All right. So this is if it's held. If it's being held by the player, then then pin it to the player's location and return, right? Otherwise, we start apply forces dx, dy, dz. Dz is not visible. It kind of creates like a bouncing mechanism for the coin, and it helps with getting it to where it eventually slows down. So not too concerned with that. All right, so there's our enemy collision. Um, Collision with enemy, and that's the collision for that. And then collision with player. That's the enemy collision stuff, player collision, and then this is entropy. So stop the coin movement once a specific threshold has been hit. All right, so collision with wall. Collision with wall. So wall, collision, state.walls, find, intersection of the location, the object in the wall. And if there's a wall collision, then what do I want to do? So no forces are going to be transferred to the wall. I want to look at maybe the elasticity, which is 0.8 right now. Actually, I don't have anything specifically ricocheting. We'll see what the ricochet should be like. All right, so if there's a wall collision, the question is, do you change both the x and y value? No, you don't want to change both x and y, right? You don't. Because you have to think about math and angles. Help. Help. So you want to reflect the angle, and you just want to, well, we're going to bounce off this wall. Let's see what it looks like if I just do O dot dx times equal -1. Yeah, I need to reflect around the normal of the wall. And the walls are going to be vertical and horizontal. So I know this wall is a H wall. So if it's horizontal, then I'm flipping on the Y, and if it's vertical, I'm flipping on the. Thank you. There we go. So if wall collision.type is an H wall, then I want to flip on the X. So dx times equal -1. Loses a little bit because of the bounce. No, Y, not X, Y. Yeah, I don't have to calculate the normal because this is all vertical or horizontal. That's great. Yeah, way easier because they're all going to be either vertical or horizontal. It's great. Yay, ASCII-based roguelike things. With no arbitrary weird angles stuff. Yep. Yeah, 45-degree walls. The tricky part is like that situation where you just like barely glance it, or the tangent or the normal is like almost parallel, but it isn't, and then you get like weird infinity values. Um, just weird numeric ridiculousness. But yeah, this bouncing of the wall will totally work. So if it's an H wall, we just flip it, and no one's the wiser. I think everything just keeps going, right? All right, so let's see if that actually worked. Is that just gonna work? That's not gonna work. Oh, look at that. It definitely did work. Yeah, so your dy is multiplied by 80% of the original value, which is cool. Y and X swap and something might need to be negated. Yep. All right, so if I try this, boop, I think it works. Works like a charm. So now you can like bank a shot off a wall and kill someone around the corner. Bounce is wonky, is it? Let's look at that bounce. That was really weird. Wait. Oh, I have to think about the direction I'm coming in at, right? Yeah, I think I still have to do normal stuff. This is, yeah, I need to multiply dx by 0.8. Yeah, you're right. And there was something else that was going on. Okay, so if I take this, so that bounce looked good, I think. All right, so if I pick this coin up, drop it, maybe DZ gets multiplied as well. DZ is just this this mechanism that kind of adds a bit more friction to the floor. Um, so it's something I'm playing around with, and it doesn't contribute at least to the rest of these values, but it might be the bounce mechanism that makes it look kind of weird. Yeah. Um, but when the coin is being thrown or the projectile is being thrown, the only thing that's acting on DZ would be the simulated gravity. So you're not like throwing upwards. So if you hit the wall, you're kind of hitting it straight horizontally with no vector in the z direction. So hopefully that doesn't have to contribute anything. At least, I'm not too concerned about that. But let me see. Let me try another bounce. That that looks good. I think the weird bounce was when I did it from this side. No, that also looks pretty good. Let's try adding more walls. Put up these walls. 20. And I'll do one more. And that one will be 30. Cool. So that's kind of annoying that I get stuck in the wall. So I need to set it outside of the wall. Um, when I do the collision, wall collision. Yeah, I have to do some axis align hoo-ha stuff, I think. Uh, yeah, to get the specific wall collision stuff working. But aside, if it's going fast enough, uh, it seems like it's behaving as expected. Yep, and then I banked it, actually hit one of the other coin tossers. Yeah, and I just have to do a correction on the bounce and reposition the coin before allowing the rest of the bounce to continue. And I'll fix that so it doesn't get stuck in the wall. Yep, just correct it and push it to the edge of the wall. Exactly. I mean, I guess that's a quick fix, right? So is it as simple as that? No, that sticks it right in, unfortunately. But yeah, I'll figure it out in a second. I need to look at the direction and then basically take the y and subtract one or add one if it's going in the opposite direction. So if dy is less than 0, then I want to add 1. Else if dy is greater than 0, I want to subtract 1. Yeah. O.dy. All right, so this should potentially work. Yeah. Yeah, having 90-degree angles certainly makes these things easier. Boop. Works like a charm. Oh man. Dark Magi, you're gonna curse my game. Just just through osmosis. It's okay though. They're so spectacular. Your curses are shit. See, I already you enter the chat and I already killed myself. I accidentally go into uh the visual cone of an enemy, and there you have it. All right, so that looks good. Okay, cool. So wall collision for horizontal walls works. Let's look at vertical walls now. So I have an H wall. So that's my H wall, and for the same ridiculousness, once I get past the prototyping and trying to see if the mechanics look good, I'll end up just creating some kind of uh, yeah, map editor real quick. All right, I'm gonna swap these values. Set that to X. Make that a Y. Move that over. And then these will be, they need to be vertical walls, but I'll change that to V wall. And which one do I want to use for vertical? I think, was it this? 11, 10. Comma 10. Where am I looking? There it is. Picture scroll wall. And this will be V wall. That's literally not correct. Do I have this hard coded somewhere? Yep, I got it right there. Do I have a type? Yep. There we go. Now I have walls. If that corner gives me issues, I swear I'm going to burn everything to the ground. It's going to give me issues, isn't it? Well, let me do the logic first. It's because they're overlapping. I'll have to fix the overlap, but yeah, collision in physics. I swear. It's so finicky. And it never gets better. All right, so wall collision. Yeah, and if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. Across the board, the engine, the project, what I'm working on, a weird text manipulation. You're like, hey, how'd you do that thing? Anything like that? Happy to talk about it. So if it's a V wall, then I want to instead of dy, that'll be dx, and then this one will be. I think that'd be it right there. So if dx is less than 0, then that'll be minus. Oh, wait. Yeah, I want to add. Right. And if dx is increasing, then I want to put it on the other side of the wall. Yep. I think that's it. Is that just going to work? So if I set the trajectory, let's pick, yeah, let's try this one. Worked. Worked like a charm. Boop. I gotta make it so the player doesn't go through the wall. Yeah, so this is like one of those tricky parts where because of the amount of movement, you can't actually get a clear shot, so you have to actually pick up the coin and like kind of line it up. It's like still messed it up. Um, so maybe it's worth having like some kind of like crosshairs or something, just from like a quality of life standpoint on the player, so you can line up the coin if needed. But that's something I need to add. Okay, so wall collision's working. I need to get player wall collision though. Player. Yep, so that's the movement of the player. And I don't want to increase by dy or dx if the player ends up in a wall for the yeah. If they end up in a wall, or I'll shove them back out like we did for the coin. So same here, wall collision. Take that, same value. This would be player. So now you have your wall collision. I have to dy, set that value. All right. And I don't allow it if there's a wall collision, right? If there's a wall collision, then I set player.y. I just subtract it. Set the x. Check again. And undo the change if there is an error. All right. Is that it? Yep. Work like a charm. All right, so cleanup time. I think it's time to clean up some of this code. All right. And then after this will be line of sight. So I'll have to create a wall like here, down this vertical. And then at that point, I shouldn't be able to see these two enemies, and I should only be able to see that one based on my line of sight. Yeah, and if anyone has some know-how around that, that would be really great, because I'll definitely need help with that. All right, so coins and coins bounce off of wall. Player can't move through wall. I still have to do some things for the enemies. So refactoring time. All right. So I've got this stupid objects thing. I want to change that to coins. Not points. Coins. I did it again. There we go. Coins. 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 Take coins. All the coins. Coins everywhere. You get a coin. He gets a coin. And then, do I have objects here? Object. It's all target object stuff. Yeah, so I've got objects still defined somewhere. No. Objects, no. Where are my objects defined? Right there. Coins. All right, everything's renamed coins. That's good. Welcome, welcome, Pharaoh Klaus Fiend. Pharaoh Klaus Fiend, welcome, welcome. Yeah, I can actually give context. Um, so this is a roguelike for 7 Day Roguelike Jam, and it's based off of it's inspired by the book the Mistborn series book. I just finished reading it. It's just freaking awesome. And the main character has this ability to like control metal, so they can use one of their like key attacks is using a coin to like throw it as a bullet and potentially kill someone, or use it to like move quickly off a wall or something. So here's the line trajectories that I have, and then I can do that, and then I is for iron push, so you can push a coin and hit a specific hit the specific enemy like that. Change your coin, and then there you go, hit all the enemies. And then what I just added was the bouncing on the walls, and then the coin flies off. So that part's cool. That ended up working well, just like that. That worked really well. And then originally it had the property like the where all the coins were being stored. I had it as objects because I was gonna do like keys and coins and like different kinds of materials, but I just said I'm just gonna make it all coins for now. And that was the change that I just made. So I've still got reference object in some places. Target coin, push target coin, target coin, all of these, all the things, change. Can pick up coin. It's more descriptive already, right? It's like it's a coin. It's not just an object. Unheld coin. So much nicer to read. Target coin, target coin. All right, so those are all the references there. And I'm sure I've got them. Yep, got it there. That can pick up coin. Push target coin, pull target coin, pick up coin, change target coin. All right, that should be all the coin references. And hopefully I didn't screw anything up. That seems to all work. Take that. Shoot there. And I did a steel push. Then fuck, missed. There you go. So that was your missing context. Ferocious Fiend. Why did I say Pharaoh Cloud Fiend? I said donut, donut, donut put me on pizza. I was like, what? What's a donut? Just I'm butchering all the names today. But there's your context. All right, I think that's a good changed. Right, so target underscore objects. Yeah, Twitch names are always fun. It's like, oh gosh, if I pronounce this incorrectly, I'm gonna get banned or something. Or you just completely butcher it and you're just like, I'm so sorry. Okay, so vertical wall's working. That's good. Enemies don't bounce off walls. I should probably get that in place at some point. But they're dead, right? I need to get enemy movement working at some point. All right, so now I need to get a wall like from here to here. And because of that wall, I shouldn't be able to see these two enemies. So line of sight is next. Crap. Does anyone know how to do line of sight? Please help. I've got it somewhere. I know I've done. You gotta do the radius thing and go across the angles. Probably at, I don't know, 5-degree increments, and that'll get you a general idea of your radius. But general idea is there, and we'll jury rig it. We'll hack it together. I'm sure we'll figure out something. But yeah, line of sight. It's great. I wanted the vertical wall, not horizontal wall. And we'll put that at 10. Let's see what that looks like. So that makes it where I can't see any of them. And see, like, I kind of have the line of sight through the coins. I'm already doing the trajectory stuff here. It's just a matter of taking it to the point where it actually doesn't render the things on the screen. Um, so I don't want it cropped up at the bottom. That's probably too much. What if I just remove that? Nope. Just kind of eyeballing it. Maybe one more. There we go. Okay, so with this, I should be able to do line of sight. All right. So line of sight should be something like can see enemy, or probably call it visible enemies. Enemies. So visible enemies. Visible enemies is based off of I want to get the normalized vector from the player to the enemy, and then increment that line. And if there's a wall, then I do not see that enemy then. So visible enemy can see enemy. Give it an enemy. Enemy is one of those words where if you type it enough times, you're just gonna be like, I I don't this word doesn't look like anything real anymore. All right, so can see enemy. I want to take state.player. I want to take the players, X and Y value of the rise and run, player X, player Y, and this needs to be E.X and E.Y. So I have that. Cool. And then I start from the player and then go all the way to the enemy. I think. Oh, no, I just need to, for all these points that So I need to start from the player. I have the rise and run, so I can extrapolate the points all the way to the enemy. And I would use the same logic as the trajectory. So my trajectory, yep. So that's each one of the lines being added to the trajectory. If we have line of sight to certain precise points, that's a bit easier. Yeah, yeah. It's all ordinal positioned, so all precise points, which is good, and it makes things way better. So my start X, and I add each one of them, and it's completed if what? When is it completed? Sure, that's fine for now. I need to. I'll need to update that. All right. So now that I have my trajectory, make that unique, and then wall collision is equal to how did I why did I spell it this way? I think I spelled it that way at one point and it was like I'm gonna keep it in your autocomplete now. Trajectory that find or sorry. If I find any wall for every wall, I need to go through each one of the trajectories. Ugh. Okay. Fine. This multi-line it's gonna be dog shit slow for very 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 large maps. There's probably ways I can do a calling of sorts. But look at the walls, and I want to return uh, trajectory dot any where the anywhere intersect did I call it lock? I think I call it, yeah, intersect lock. Intersect lock TW. So if, and that can also be an any. And I think that's the answer right there. It's not a lot of points. Um, and I only have to recalc this when they move. So I can cache the value. Yep. Break line of sight if any wall gets in the way. Um, but yeah, I can cache the value because if the player hasn't moved and the enemies haven't moved, there's nothing to recalculate. Um, so that helps with that. And then the number of points, like the number of enemies and stuff, is fairly small also. And there's probably ways to quicken it. So I want state down enemies, find all where I can see the enemy. And there's the enemies, so this should be then instead of enemies, it'll be visible enemies. Is this just gonna work? That'd be cool if it did. It did, but I just did it wrong. I did it the wrong way. Whoops. uh, I gotta not something. Visible enemies. Yep, so I'm going to say not wall exists. There we go. Yep, so that's the only enemy I can see. And then the moment I... That. All the goodness. And then I'd want to do the same thing for the coins, too. If I can see the coins versus not see the coins. Please ship it to when beyond that enemies. Yeah, I need to update that instead of having the while loop. Another way I can do it is that instead of even looking at completed, I can get the distance between those 2 points and just loop that many times. Right, so if I do geometry distance and what is my distance logic? Distance takes in 0.1 and 0.2. Cool. So player and then the enemy. And so this would just be distance dot times do. And that in there. So then I don't have to worry about that. Rise and run are X. Can't see enemy. Completed is true. Yeah. I think times. It's right there. Distant dot times. Times with index. What? Bull hog. Bull crappy poopy. Let's see. What are you complaining about? 28.0. Oh, because it's a float value. All right, that makes sense. We'll do a ceiling. Happy. All right, let's see. Yeah, completed. So I think that resolves the distance stuff, right? So I can see that. Yep, that looks good. Yeah, I got to cast to the end to do times for it. Let's see. Alternatively, the loop should scale from 0 to n, where 0 points is the player and n points is the enemy position, and it's just yeah. So that's why I did the ceiling dot times. But there you have it. That kind of works. There's probably other like what's it called, shortcuts, not shortcuts, I would say early exits I can do. Oh, when I can do a quick cache of the value. Yeah, so I've got push pull cache and enemy visibility cache. Set it to that. Set it to that, and then say if I'll get a cache hit if I take the enemy's visibility and e.y and return the cache hit if I get a cache hit. Otherwise, set it equal to that, and then return it. And then I want to invalidate this at the beginning of every tick, basically. Where did I do my cache invalidation? Yeah, pull push trajectory. That's done there. So yeah, if the player moves, yeah, if the player moves, I wanna invalidate the enemy visibility cache. I'm sure that will speed it up, or I probably just broke something horribly. Yep. So if I do cache hit, so I'll do puts cache miss. That's not correct. I shouldn't be getting cache misses that many times. Enemy visibility cache is that e.x, e.y is equal to not well. I want to say because false is the value exists versus doesn't exist, right? So I want to say cache hit would be key, and yeah, so that's the cache hit. And if I do get a cache hit, then I'm going to take that value and actually return it. So does the entry actually exist in the dictionary? And if it does, all right, so I got 2 cache misses, 3 cache misses, which is good. That's what I expected. Right there. And it's only when I move that I get the invalidation. Yeah, that's gravy. All right, let's see. If I was making this, I'd have the map be a 2D array so that I could march through the map via rise and run, and early exit if the retrieved object is a wall. Yeah, I can do a bit some of those like there's a facet of it where I want to be able to define have some like what's it called? Referential transparency. And with respect to referential transparency, what I'm trying to communicate is distance. Yeah. What I'm trying to communicate is, well, give me the line of sight. Yes, the goal is to find line of sight and see if there's a collision with the wall, but there's a way. A part of the way I see it is like, yeah, find that line, that trajectory line from the player to the enemy, and that's one facet of the composition of to determine wall collision. And then the second part of it is to enumerate that and actually look at the walls themselves to see if they collide. So I could early exit exact. You're absolutely right. Right, instead of collecting all these values immediately, and then checking it on the wall, setting it up in that regard would be a way I can do it. Another option that I have, it actually might be worth doing this, is instead of walls being a collection, have it be a dictionary of dictionaries, because then I can immediately see if that value's in there. Hello, Rubber Duck Dev Show. See, I'm gonna butcher all the names. For those that are watching, definitely check out Rubber Duck Dev Show. They stream every Tuesday, right? Is where you do the pairing, or like the actual like code hacking, the game hacking stuff. And there's one day, it's either Tuesday or Thursday, where one is the, yep, every Tuesday. Cool. It says it right there. would be Tuesday. RTFM, come on. But fantastic. Yeah, it was a pleasure jumping on. There's Chris is doing like a lot of work with in open source and contributing and trying to help people, you know, learn how to program in a really safe way or a safe environment. And he's doing proc gen stuff, just really cool things. But yeah, yeah, if you're just starting to program and getting into programming, this would be definitely something I'd encourage y'all to watch. I appreciate loved having you, loved being on. It was great. It really was lots of fun, lots of fun. And yeah, I know there was probably like a million questions that you might still want to ask. So go for it. I'm more than happy to answer them on this stream. But yeah, so that's another optimization is that instead of a two-dimensional array, do a hash of hashes. Um, doing a hash of hashes gives you a little bit more flexibility. Well, I guess the two-dimensional array gives you the same thing. It's one half a dozen or another. The 2D array makes sense. I can totally see that as being a facet of it. Why would the interesting with the hash is that if the I don't have to populate the entire grid if there's nothing in that at that point, right? So like this part of the map is empty. If I did a 2D array, I would still have a slot for this empty space. While in a hash, this this key value just wouldn't exist. So you get a smaller data structure if you if you use a hash as opposed to a 2D array. But yeah, those are optimizations I could do, and that would significantly all the places where I'm doing the any logic any there we go. Yeah, this right here where I'm doing this just kind of goes away, which is nice. How's everything in chat today? It's good. Hopefully everyone's doing good. 11 viewers, that's great. I haven't what's it called? Twitch streamed in over 2 years. I did one last night, like middle of the night kind of thing, and this is a more reasonable hour. But yeah, I wanted to get started on the game jam, and I was super excited about it. So I was like, I'm gonna burn the midnight oil and see if I can get this idea in place. Cool. So I can see enemies. I've got line of sight to the enemies, and then that that's gravy. All right. So the next thing I want to get working is the camera movement. Love seeing more streaming happening. Want to help get more folks into that. Yeah, it's nice. It kind of keeps you focused. Like if I wasn't doing this, I'd already be losing losing matches on League right now. Um, but yeah, having people on here asking questions and uh, engaging is just it's fun. Yep. So pick up. Yeah, and I've got that coin inside of the wall, but I need to just reposition the coin. Its starting point is not in a great place. Yeah, so this needs to be like 8. Yeah, if I wasn't streaming, I'd be being bad at video games instead. Yep. It's I swear, I used to be good at video games. I used to be good at PvP and competitive stuff, and now I'm just too damn old. I can't keep up with anyone. My APM in StarCraft is trash. Used to be good, and now I can't even beat. I tried beating an easy. Tried playing a normal AI in StarCraft 2, and I couldn't beat it. I was like, this is ridiculous. What is wrong with me? So cool. So line of sight is working, and so not yeah. Next thing will be camera. I want to get camera working. Line of sight for for enemies that are actually Riku. Will you stop scratching yourself? You're gonna scratch your eye out or something. Riku, silly dog, stop. No, I swear, dogs. I just play stuff like Satisfactory because I don't have to beat anything except myself. Cool. Map movement. Um, so I can do something naive for now. This is a recurring theme. It's just the naive stuff. Um, half-assed, half-assed always. It may be half-assed, but it's the right half of the ass. Damn it, that's what I always say. So what is the goal for this session? To kind of vet the general idea ab- about the core game mechanic. The core game mechanic being that this is like a um, Metal Gear Solid kind of tactical stealth thing where you're grossly outnumbered. So if you get into someone's line of sight, they'll hit you with the coin and you die. So it's about using your alchemist abilities to or your ability to manipulate metals to take out guards in interesting ways or and then escape this dungeon of hell. Um, sure there'll be a narrative component that I can explore, but yeah, I want to get enough facets of the mechanics in place to see if it's worth spending more time with it. And I think yeah, like the coin push and stuff is fun. You can have multiple coins, which is cool. The enemies could have like patrol mechanisms. You can ricochet coins. You can use coins as a distraction. So yeah, you like shoot a coin at a wall, and then the enemy hears it, so and you get the like, hmm? In Metal Gear Solid, the question mark, and then they walk over to that area, which lets you pass through. So things like that, and kind of seeing exploring to see if it's fun. What I'm worried about right now is that the premise of it being inspired by the Mistborn series is what's compelling me to continue playing as opposed to it being air quotes fun. But I think it could be fun. Gonna deal with mob LOS at some point in mind, so that'll be interesting. So when am I gonna give something a proper full assing? That never happens. It never happens. Everything I write is of questionable quality. Yep. I and I come back a year later and I look at it and go, who wrote this crap? Sounds like something I love to play. I love stealth games. AC is one of my faves because of that. AC, Assassin's Creed. Yeah. Oh yeah, we talked about Assassin's Creed and Odyssey and Unity and Valhalla and all that stuff. But yeah, fantastic, really great series. And yeah, I love the stealth aspects of it uh, a lot. Have y'all played the most recent Call of Duty? It came out like in November. It was like a reboot of Modern Warfare, but there's a stealth mission in there that they did a really great job with it. I found that mission extremely fun to play. Story was good. Um, Completely over the top, right? Felt like you were in the movie. But do you know which stealth mission I'm talking about? It's like when you have control over the cameras and you're trying to uh, kind of tell Ghost when to move, when to like do a sabotage and things like that. It was really great. I really enjoyed that mission, and I hit myself with the coin and died. Okay, so how do we? So let's center the. Let's just center the player. Let's just start with that. So game scene. We've got we've got a lot of references to tile and game. So tile and game is taking the absolute coordinate system, and what I need to do is say tile relative to camera is I think the function that I need to create. Tile relative to uh, player, maybe. Tile relative to the player. I think that will work. So everything just centers around the player, and the camera is implicitly at the player. I know I remember why I don't normally watch streams. My net is so rubbish. If I can't stay connected to the stream, I guess I'll have to take my ghosts and I'll actually upload this to YouTube. If someone said it wouldn't hurt to do that. So I can put it on YouTube, and if you want to catch up with it later, you can do that there. So tile relative to player. For right now, I'll make it a, a pass through, and then tile in game will be tile relative to player. Cool. So this should be exactly how it was working before, which is good. That's good. And then the center should be like player center should be right there. So everything should be. Here we go with math again. Why do I do this? Why do I do this to myself? So dx, the real dx value that I want will be the player's position from and to. So if the wall is right above the player, yeah, so I'm going to subtract x minus game.player.x, y, player.y. Yep, I think that makes sense. And then new x is going to be center screen plus dx New y will be center screen plus dy. This is totally going to work. This is not going to work. This is going to fail miserably. Did it actually work? That's cool, it worked. It's always scary when it works the first time. You're like, something is wrong. This should not work the first time. And but yeah, that actually did the trick. So the other thing that I want to do is I want to say if the distance is greater than, if the absolute value of the distance is greater than 20, then I return nil, right? So if dx.abs return nil, if, do I want to return nil? Do I really want to return nil? I'll return nil. It should make something explode. Give a little bit of fudge factor. I technically want the distance, the square root, you know, like the distance between those points, and then let me just do that. Distance equal to geometry dot distance, and I want game dot player, and then x and y, and return nil if distance is greater than 20. Otherwise, yeah, get the values. Nice. I can't return nil. That's fine. What about that? Did this just like kind of work the first time? I don't like it when things just work the first time like that. But yeah, it's just kind of working, isn't it? Well, it isn't working. That's good. Greater than 40? No, 40 is too much. What is this value? The square root, was it like 20 squared plus 20 squared? The square root of 20 squared plus 20 squared? That's not correct. Yeah, because it's like, what the hell is it doing? You're in a box. You probably want the bounds of the box. Oh, yeah. Well, let me remove the border first. We don't need that crap anymore. It seems like just removing that works. This is totally fine. Right? See, this is the weird part. Because, I mean, I guess that's correct, right? 28.28, it seems. Yeah, so let's... It's a fudge number, right? Let's try 29. That's good enough. I'm gonna get shot. Damn it, I got shot. I was like, crap. That's not correct. What is happening there? Why did I just lose the line? Oh, I probably have something stupid somewhere where I'm like looking at the number 40 or something. Yeah, here we go. That's the pull push trajectory. And I want to do the same thing here. Visible enemies. Yep, visible enemies. I want the distance. And then distance.ceiling.times is what I want to do. Yeah, that was the half-ass coding. This was the wrong at the half of the ass. I concede. This was not the correct half that I wanted to use. It was late. It was late. It was like 2, 3 a.m. Player and entity. And distance dot seal times do. Yeah, I think that works. It might need to be floor. I don't know if it's seal or floor. Sure, one of those. Is it round? Maybe. No, I don't know. That works for me. So yep, and then if I keep going, cool. Groovy. That's working out well. Look at that. Enemies disappearing on me because of the wall. All right, so line of sight looks good. The canvas could be way larger. Okay, so let me that's camera. We got wall collision working, we got bouncing coins, we've got camera. It's not an exorbitant amount of code. Okay. So let's shift gears and try to make this prettier. The math stuff made my head hurt, so now we're going to do artsy stuff. Or just aesthetics, right? Special effects, maybe things like fading out of yeah, pretty's good. Yeah, like fading out of the enemies when you pass, instead of them disappearing, like have it kind of fade away maybe. Some juice around the actual throwing of the coin, blood spatter when you actually kill an enemy, things like that. That sounds like not math related stuff. The deuce. Oh, see, yeah, this gives me the trajectory to the player, but I also need the other side for the push. That's why I had the length in there, I think. Is that why? So would it always be, would the trajectory line always be 40? Or the visible space, maybe? But these are the things that I want to fix. Yeah, let's shift gears and make it pretty. Any questions so far from anyone? Enjoying the stream, hopefully. I am I am not. I don't know if this is a joke or not. I don't know if you're joking, Chris. Or sorry, uh Rubber Duck Dev Show. Um I'm not using VS Code. I am not using VS Code. Yeah, we can. we can have that conversation if you'd like to have that conversation of why I'm not using VS Code. It's just um it's brace yourself. It's Emacs but with Vim bindings. Virus code. Hey. I mean, you're not wrong, but I feel personally attacked is all, you know. But yeah, it's not a can of worms. We've had I love talking about, you know, tooling and editor usages and I think I've like formulated good arguments or things fast as a consideration when selecting one editor IDE or what have you over another. But yeah, I'm more than happy to talk about it. No qualms there. And it you know, it's like people say, "Oh, it's a holy war thing." It's like, well, it doesn't have to be, right? There's there's a facet of like debating or having discord with someone where I call it preference ping pong. The moment when someone says, "Well, this is just my preference," at that point, what they're really communicating is that the arguments that I formulated are as far as I want to take it. Right? I don't want to invest any more time in X Y Z, and I invest the time. So when I hear someone say, "Oh, it's just my preference," it's like, well, okay, that is that is fine to say, but what you're really saying is you don't care enough to invest the time in it, which is totally fine. I have wasted too many hours of my life on VS Code stuff. I mean, on IDE stuff. So I get it, but that's I've put a lot of time into reasoning through engines, APIs, tooling, editors. More than happy to talk through it. All right. So grid size. And I've got a grid size somewhere. Grid. Yeah, I've got a size. Where do I set this value? Size equals. No. State.grid. There it is. Grid size. Yeah, we just had a show a couple weeks ago with the panel on Vim versus VS Code versus RubyMine. It managed to stay civil. Interesting talk though. I learned a lot. Yeah, I have words with respect to that, and yeah, VS Code falls short across the board. Um, Actually, yeah, I had the stupid highlight video. It might be worth just watching, just watch that damn video instead of hearing me. I'm more than happy to rant about it. Still, it's a hobby horse of mine. Where where is it? Is it like highlights? Is it under highlights? Um, no, I have it on the Discord. I'm sure I mentioned it there. From Mirajan. I will never find. I have the link whenever I'm not looking for it. But when I'm looking for it, I can never find it. That's that's my life. Thank you. Thank you, Alex V. Thank you so much. But yes, Rubber Duck Death Show. It's if you watch that that little rant, it gives a lot of the context that I would have been re regurgitating to some regard. But but that's kind of how I we can talk about it more after you if you end up listening to it. All right, destination tile size. Destination tile size. So the grid size is 660. If I double that, that's going to be more than 1280. Is it? That's 1320. So yeah, that would be more than 1280. Okay, so let's just set it to 1280 and no padding. Wait, I can't. The size can't be 1280 because of the vertical bounds that I have to deal with. Because the aspect ratio is in 16 by 9 on this. So 720 for that, and then if I take 1280, 720, subtract, and then divide it by 2, my offset would be 280. 280 pixels. Is that what I wanted? That is definitely not what I wanted. 280 pixels over 16. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. 280? That sounds like it was correct. Border X, border Y, border size. Let me look at the change that I made, which is borders. Yep. Where's my border set? Okay, so there's my border. That doesn't look great though. The main complaint with VS Code generally boils down to me being tired of everything being embedded web app instead of an actual native application. Also prefer the self-documented nature of Emacs and being a listener. Yeah, the biggest takeaway is the self-documentation. Um, the the people that wrote Emacs used Emacs to write Emacs, and I don't get that same feeling when I use VS Code. Because if I'm writing VS Code and I'm writing plugins for VS Code, it should be trivial to write plugins for VS Code. If anything, for the devs that are working on VS Code, like why would you make your lives harder on yourselves by doing some god awful ass backwards approach to doing plugin development? It should just be something that you can trivially, fire up and do at a whim. And it's silly that it's not like that. Do you have this code up anywhere? I'm about to get into camera zoom and movement, so reviewing the repo would be helpful. Yeah, I can post the code somewhere. I can definitely post the code somewhere. Let me see if I can get this border size stuff working correctly. So destination tile, but yeah, that's the biggest thing is that the the extension, the plugin, the authoring of plugins is should be easier. It should be it should be intrinsic in the development of the IDE itself, and it's just not apparent with respect to VS Code. It just doesn't. Tile sheet size. Okay, that's all for the tile sheet. Okay. Um, rx.state.grid. So I've set the size to 720. Let's set it back to 660 and see what it looked like. All right, so that's 660 tile size. And that was the 30 by 30 padding. And the problem is, what is the problem with this size? I can't take advantage of like the full aspect ratio, which is kind of annoying. Totally agree with all those points of VS Code. The only reason I'm on it now is because it was a long Sublime user and the move was trivial. But I'm too swamped to learn new paradigms. I get it. I get it. Um, I I picked up I picked up Emacs when I was in my uh, late 20s, so I had the energy to invest in that, um, and it pays significant dividends over that time period now. But if I started later, it would have been I think it'd be a um, much tougher ordeal. But yeah, I plan to code for the next 40 years of my life, and I cannot outgrow my editor. I cannot outgrow my IDE. I can't be stuck in one the new hot when the new hotness comes around. I can't be in a position where I'm not able to bend my IDE to my will, and it's just VS Code doesn't give that to you. If I may ask, why move from Sublime? Oh, Sublime is a fantastic editor in my opinion. Still use it whenever I'm trapped on Windows because finding makes on Windows to be a pain. It's a nice, simple editor. It's a great, simple thing. But yeah, if it's something that I'm gonna be working in 50 hours a week, um, it's got to be able to read my mind. The IDE has to get to the point where it's reading my mind. Okay, so 660. Um, I can center this in the screen. So if I take 1280, 660, subtract those values, that's 620. And then if I divide that by 2, that gives me 310 padding on each side. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so the 310, the problem is I'm applying the padding on the Y offset also. So I need to look at padding and just set that to this needs to be padding underscore X. It's all my instructions crap, which is all going to go away and replace because no one reads instructions. And then this one needs to be padding Y. Okay, and now I need to create the padding Y variable. That should give me what I need. Yes, I know there's an exception. Calm down. I'll fix it. I'll fix it, DragonRuby. What file was that in? Game scene. Okay. All right, so padding Y needs to be 30. Yeah, the remote pairing in VS Code is 100% accessible. It's really nice. Um, I'm nowhere near as productive in VS Code, but I usually am not the person coding when in a pairing environment. But yeah, VS Code has a really nice pairing infrastructure. Actually, I take that back. The remote pair programming is utter trash, especially if both developers have any remotely any kind of speed. You'll actually get collisions in the files, and you'll lose data between files. I've had that situation occur. So if it's like one person touches it and then another person touches it, and it's not like two people really going at the same body of code, then it's okay. But if you try to do anything remotely non-trivial, it does um, explode in very unrecoverable ways, right? But for light pairing, I totally agree. It's so nice. All right, so I'm gonna hide the legend. Yeah, for your show purposes, it was perfect, and that's exactly why I wanted to use it on your show. I was like, yeah, let's use VS Code, and I had that separate file, right? And I was like, here's some tidbits in the file that you can use, and it worked out really well, and it was just pleasant across the board. The closest I've ever gotten to that is like a TMUX session where we we have to go into a jump box of some sort, right? Or someone attaches to my TMUX instance over SSH. But then you have to know terminal. You need to know all those facets of the system. So it's not it's not as nice. Okay, so sprite tile underscore sprite tile extended, and then relative to player. I think my distance is too large for this. Tile relative to player. Yeah, 29 is too big. Let me see what happens if I just explicitly set it at 20. 20 is not 20 is not. Yeah, that's kind of terrible. 22. What's the magic number? That's so annoying. Maybe I don't want the geometric distance. Maybe I want to just say if either dx or dy is greater than 22. Maybe that's all I really need to do. 42 is a more magical number. Schoolhouse Rocks 3 is the magic number. Yeah. How long has it been since I've no one play this theme song, because that's gonna get stuck in my head, and I'll just be like, yeah, what, what? You're not supposed to be rendering. You're all what? Return if ABS. There we go. The cutoff looks good there. Fantastic. Yeah, so like that's exactly what I needed right there. Way better. Yeah, so I didn't even have to do, it's not a straight line distance. It's either or. Yep. Thank you for it was the absolute value. Okay, so I want to expand it out. I want to use the entire area. So I had that set to 660, right? So that's that's actually size Y. Size underscore Y. Height. I hear the a synonym for size underscore Y is probably height with a T and not a TH. inside joke. Some people might be laughing at that. Yeah, size underscore y. And so size x is the other value that I need. Yeah. So size x, I'm going to do, yeah, 30 padding on each side. So 1280, 30. Do that twice. That puts me at 1220. 1220 is the width. Yep, that's what I want. And that would be size X. All right, so size Y, border size. This would be border size Y, X. Naming things. I'm gonna be kicking myself for. I feel like who. Later, I'm gonna search for the word width and height. Height. It's not th. It's a hard t sound. I'm gonna be searching for width and height, and I'm gonna find size X and size Y and go, what was I thinking when I wrote this? I wasn't thinking that's what it was. All right. Okay, so let's see if that fixes the border. All right, that's good. That does fix the border. And so my padding X needs to drop from 310 to 30. Perfect. That looks good. Watch people zoom around a rim, and for sure it's much more of a speed environment than VS Code. But I'm also think from the press box developer, so having all the context in iShot is helpful for my way of thinking. So having all the context in iShot, what does that mean? Having all the context in iShot. So dx is greater than, so dx is greater than 21. How did I get the number 21? I'm taking the tile size and divided by something. Yeah, tile size. Right, I'm clamping it and then setting the tile size. That makes sense. Right, so this is the pixels, and I'm given ordinals, so I need to divide by the tile size to figure out what my tiles would look like left to right, I guess. Right, because I have it hard coded to 20, which is incorrect. So state.grid state.grid. I need to put this somewhere better instead of the tick method. It's in the tick method. Try to remember that. I'm not going to remember that. args.state.grid dot center x, but is that in pixels or not? Center tile x, sure. And that's going to be equal to 1220 divided by 2. Right? Yeah. And then divided by tile size. Let's see what value I get for that. That seems reasonable. 38.125. And then if I do the same thing for center tile Y, I should get 20 for Y. Yeah, 20.625. Okay, so that math actually does work out. Size underscore X. I will change it to width and height. I will. Before I get made fun of again. Context. So like the file browser, easy access to DB schemas, routes, all kinds of stuff. I don't have to do a lot of context switching to keep that stuff in view, but that's because it's my way of thinking. I do all my database queries through Emacs, schema, file browsing, routes. I have a calculator. I was using a calculator built into Emacs because I didn't want to context switch out of Emacs. Yeah, so it's and like split windows. I can go crazy with my split windows. Bring up different things, all the stuff. Have my git status right there. So everything in one place. And I agree with it. I totally agree with the aspect of everything in one place. And I've had situations in my consulting and contracting where I had to interact with F# code, C# code, Microsoft SQL Server, and Postgre all at the same time, right? So, and there was a legacy VB6 application. So I'm not going to open up Visual Studio 2010 or Visual Studio 6.0 from way back whenever, and then SQL Server Management Studio and then PG SQL. I'm not, right. That context switch. I'm not going to do that. And so the fast of that context switching, I totally agree with you. And I think the thing is that VS Code has a lot of the latest stuff built in. So the context switch for the tech that most people work with is already available. But when I start getting into like esoteric systems or very old systems, and want to still avoid context switching, uh, that's where that's where some of the new writers just fall short. Okay, so center tile size. I'm gonna do greater than. So I don't want to do greater than 21. I want to do state.grid dot, what did I call it? Do I have two tick methods in here? I don't think I do. All right, state.grid.centerTileX is what I called it. Okay. Sure. And then state.grid.centerTileY. Let's see if that gives me what I want. Maybe. I think, yeah, now I have to put an enemy further out so I can see if it actually worked. I firmly believe that other IDs are more productive than uh, VS Code right now. It's just a matter of, yeah. No, I totally get it. I totally get it. And there's nothing wrong with staying with NetBeans if that's the editor you choose. But after after a decade of using it, you you better be able to create a plugin from scratch with your blindfolded, right? Because you're going to hit that situation in 15 years or 20 years where you're going to outgrow your editor, right? And you're going to want to extend it. And it's that facet of, oh, I use editor this and that. It's great, but are you an expert with that editor? And why not if you've been using it for 10 years, right? Oh, I've never taken the time to extend it. It's like, okay, because you haven't outgrown it, maybe? Or we just accept the deficiencies of the editor. So then we're just like, okay, yes, I have to do this one weird thing and swap back and forth. And I'll live with that because I don't know how to fix it. And it's like, no, you want to fix it because you're going to be doing that for the next 40 years. And that's what kills me. That's what hurts. But it's hard to make that investment. And I get it. It's really hard to make that investment. All right, so if I change the enemy to 45, is that working? I I think yeah, because it's not, yeah, it's not generating this other part with the deuce. And my center tile is not correct. Oh, because I'm still doing 20 and 20, dummy. Grid dot center tile x state dot grid. Okay, that looks nicer. Yes. Yes. Sweet. All right, so now I've got the whole screen, which is nice. Right. You get the full screen, full fidelity. You move around, you can see all the things. Pick that up. Put it back down. And then push. And yeah, I gotta remove the instructions. Yeah, prioritization is prioritization is always difficult. And there's actually an algorithm. This this problem has a name. It's called the multi-arm bandit problem. Um, and we're describing it right now. It's just that you reach a level of experience and exposure to some category of or some facet of experiences, and then you you can continue exploring, or you can begin exploiting. Exploiting being like, taking advantage of the knowledge that you have. It's just too hard. I have the same problem with Elixir. Like, people tell me like, "Oh, why don't you use Elixir? You'd love it." It's like, well, it's because I'm past exploration. I'm now in the exploitation phase, right? So the languages that I use are languages that I can exploit to the nth degree, and I miss out, right? Because what's it called? Elixir might have amazing things that I'm missing out on. Rust probably has amazing things that I'm missing out on, and it's just something I have to accept because, yeah, you got to make that trade off. All right, full environment. That's a good point. That's a good place to commit. Rendering 16 by 9 grid as opposed to a 660 or 1 square. So for game data, no, we are a very vocal minority. I think, yeah, there are close to 2,000 people on the Discord server, and I think the Emacs channel has like maybe 15 people that are talking it. We are uh, we are definitely the minority there. We just really invest in. We just really you have the good and the bad is that you have to invest in the editor, which is the frustrating part. But if you plan to code for the rest of your life to your dying day, you have to invest in your editor. So that's kind of where what it comes down to. And I think most people are good with the productivity that VS Code gets out of the box. And I think that's fine. Um, yeah, we are not logical humans. We don't listen to reason. That is not something that we are privy to, unfortunately. All right, so we've got our aesthetics, the white screen. I can get rid of the border. Anybody have any ideas on like kind of prettying this up? I do want to think about how to do like menus that are more like context aware, kind of like what's it called? Paper Mario is a fantastic example, I think. Paper Mario, Paper Mario images, and I'm gonna look at. Let's go to videos. I vaguely remember being inspired by Paper Mario. Paper Mario long play. Long play Paper Mario. Where is... Let's get into a fight sequence. What's the fight? Okay. Come on. Okay. Of course, right when I set the playback speed to fast. See, now I have to rewind. Okay. Come on, show me those pretty moves. Hopefully that's better. Sorry. All right. Come on. Yes, yes, keep going. Let it be Mario's turn. Okay, there it was. Damn it. I give up. Ah. Let's go back to Paper Mario Battle Battle System. Yeah, maybe Paper Mario 64. I just there it is. Okay. So this is so no where where was that where was that menu? Can you just I just want this specific picture. Please. Open image in new tab. Thank you. Yeah, so kind of this aspect where maybe instead of having shortcut keys, just a finite set of almost like a dial that you can move through. And just kind of make a little some of that a bit more approachable. And I think Yakuza PS5, the latest Yakuza did a good job of this also. There we go. So so same thing here, right? Instead of menus upon submenus upon submenus, this idea of each instead of using directional followed by like pressing X, then directional again, followed by pressing X again, or zero to go back, circle to go back. Each one of the buttons has a dive into a specific set of commands. So your skills would be triangle, and then you have four skills there to look at maybe, or three skills there to look at. It's constrained, but it kind of streamlines a lot of the interaction and movement and player and battle stuff. So I was thinking about a facet of that and saying, okay, well, could I could I forego the whole like um every letter being set with something and have just like a nine like a grid where it's context specific. Left and right keys. I was not aware of that. Thank you. Sort of nest menus to add menus to limited control set. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Context aware. So I was thinking of taking that approach. So so yeah, you're like moving around, and then the options here, I guess up, down, left, and right would be implied. I don't think I don't think there's much to communicate from that perspective, maybe. But then uh, the the options here would be pull pull coin or what's it called um, iron pull and then or iron push steel pull would be two options. So you would either do I for iron pull and then it would be L the L key. So that'd be like your nine numpad, and that's how you do it. And then maybe U and O would be cycling between the coin selections. And then if you move over a coin, then you get another another value to pick up the coin. So something like that. Something a bit more context aware. Um, and then build on that complexity from there, as opposed to just explode having everything on the screen all at once. And I think it's just we can be more refined with that kind of stuff these days. That's the only other. That's another idea that I had. Um, as far as mechanics, as far as exploring game mechanics, do I forego the UI stuff? Are the mechanics fun enough? I don't think so. Right now, I don't think they are. Okay, so I'm gonna give it one more hour, and I'm gonna do some blood spatter stuff. So we did some like UI, and yeah, let's do like exploding blood or something. So what do I want this to look like? So when you hit an enemy, yep, so that looks good right there. And what I'll do is I'll set it up to where the enemy just shows up right on the right in my line of sight with the coin in a similar area. So set that to 20, and then the coins. I think that puts me in a pretty good place. Yep, right there. Perfect. So I need to move the player up by 3. So 6. Perfect. So voila, right off the bat. I feel like the mechanics will become a little bit more fun again when there are enemies are walking around. Yeah, that's another thing, like patrolling enemies, um, enemies that kind of kind of do Metal Gear Solid things, right? That's exactly the emerging like hilariousness that comes from those kind of things. And the dumber the AI, the funner the game could potentially be also. All right, so I'm gonna exactly like that. I have a concept of dead. All right, so there's dead equals true. I'll mark I'll, I'll mark the time of death, and then in my render, where are my enemies? Okay, so this is my render of the enemies. It's getting large enough to where I want to extract this into a function. Cool. And I'm going to say if, yeah, so if e dot dead at is equal to game dot clock, I'm going to just make sure that this part works first. All right, shoot it. Yep, so there's the notification right there. That's good. And what I'll do is I'll do args.outputs. Okay, I'll just say if args e.data for now. Args.outputs, and I'll make this a separate map for now, because I know this is going to be something that's going to be potentially queue based, just kind of like After Effects or particle effects that are not explicitly important to the rendering. So if it's dead, I want to when they're dead, I want to have the final position of the blood spatter just to kind of get a good feel for what that would look like, and then I'll make it go to that final position. Yeah, I like that idea. And for blood spatter, what do I want to use? Sprites. I'll just use a pixel sprite from DR, from DragonRuby itself. So I'll set the x to e.x, y to e.y. Width will be 10. Height will be 10. Path will be pixel. R will be 255. G will be 0. B will be 0. It's gonna be too bright red. We'll get a darker red. Don't worry. All right. Where is it? Where's my stupid sprite? Why aren't you there? Visible enemies map. 2E. Time to go to tile, shower, procrastinated. Have a good one. And I'll get this up on YouTube in case anyone wants to watch it. So yeah, here's working. Oh, I'm in a block. Why isn't this working? Oh, because I need to do a tile relative to yeah, it's right there. I didn't transform it to the map. This is why we can't have nice things right here. So that needs to actually be all right. I'll pull it off the tile itself then, since I already have that facility in place. Constants.rb. Show the legend. Pick a tile from here. What would be a good blood spatter tile? Sure, that one. 15,9. (15,9). And then this would be tile relative to player. E.x, E.y, blood, dot merge, 255, B is 0, and then G is 0. That's what I'm going to return. Yeah, it's just hard to see. So if I do, I don't want to do a random number every time. Let's just do that for now. Let's see what that looks like. All right, so that puts the blood spatter right there. I think that's okay. Wish there was like, we'll get the position and then I'll worry about the visual look of it for after that. So we got 1, And so he was hit from the right. So all the spatter will be +1. And let me stop resetting the game, because I already have that. +3, -2. So -3 plus -2. Let's see what that looks like. No, I don't want that. +2. Yeah, that's kind of far away. I think that's fine though. Just a general idea of of the destination. A little bit darker red. That's too dark. Maybe 128. Eh. All right, that's fine. So let's say that's where I want the destination locations to be at. So 3, 1, 3, and then 2, 1, and 2. Cool. So the progress, I want to do a smooth stop. Smooth stop. Yep. I think I have that already in here. Yeah, smooth stop is already there. So I want my P to be P.dead at. The duration, the easing I want for this would be what? That's my start at. Duration would be 1 second, 30, half a second. And then smooth stop cube. Let's see what that looks like. That went really fast. I think that went, yeah, because I'm using the ordinal positioning as opposed to the pixel position. Yeah, that jumped right up there, didn't it? I think I know why. I need to look at ease extended. Numeric, ease extended. Tick count override. Why didn't I put that in there? That's so stupid. I'm always using kernel tick count. All right. I'll have to create an override for that. And my definitions will be smooth stop quad. Give us that. And then this would be game.clock. Duration will be 30 milliseconds. Hopefully that gives me what I want. Maybe this will work, hopefully. P is a non-float value? Yeah, I want perk in there, not key. All right, let's see if this gives me what I want. I think that looked better. That did not look better. It worked for a split second. Dead at ease extended. This just does not like me. All right, so in that case, I'm gonna see if the other option works. That's an oversight on my part as far as overriding the lerping functions to not use tick count if I don't have it. But I'll go ahead and set it to tick count for now. I'm still not getting it. I'm still not getting an ease. I have my duration. It's going to use the tick count. Smooth stop cube. Final value. Yep. Oh, that looks good. Okay, that kind of worked. All right. Right, so the problem here is that I'm doing the smooth stop on the ordinal value as opposed to the numeric value. So tile relative to player, I get the dy and dx, and then that goes into tile and game, and here that gets turned into integer values. So let's not turn it into integer values here. This code is jank at this point. Tile and game. Tile extended, and I do a floor here, so I'll just do 2i on both sides for this. No, I can't do that there. What? Can I? Maybe. Let me see. Did I mess anything up though? Yeah, I think it still looks good. I don't know why I was doing because I think that overlaps still pretty well. Yeah, see, here's the problem, right? This is not overlapping correctly. Yeah, so this is where I need to redo the clamping and bring it down to the final value, which I can handle later. Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted. Smooth stop. Yep. Game scene. Tile extended. Ease. Let's see what 15 looks like with a smooth stop of a quint smooth stop. That looks kind of derpy. I'm gonna need to just play around with it, but I think the general premise is there. Just kind of yeah, and just get better blood spatter, whatever. Cool. I think this is in a good place. Yeah. There's the. And what I could probably do, I could probably create another tile and game that doesn't have to be pixel perfect. I think that's a good place to stop. I'm gonna get some food, and I'll probably be on later on tonight if y'all want to hang again. All right, working through blood spatter, and if anyone wants to actually like work on this game with me, I mean, let's let's do it. Like um, the um, the enemy movement is something that needs to be looked at, right? Map generation. There's a lot to be done. So if there's a facet of this game that you'd want to try to hack on, we can we can try to split it up on this stuff. All right. Well, I'm gonna wait for the stream to save and then I'll upload this to YouTube, so it's available for posterity's sake. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for the stream, Amir. You're very talented and skilled. Uh, I wish I one had the motivation to do this much programming. Here's hope I can get there. ADHD treatment two and two. Uh, we're this we're this good. And roguelike would mean randomly generated maps. Yeah, randomly generated maps like Dark Souls is a roguelike, and the facet of randomly generated maps is that you have to master non-randomly generated maps first before you have the intuition to understand how to randomly generate maps that are still fun, right? So when I'm building a roguelike, I go with non-random maps to say, here's the ideal flow of the game, or here's how I want every playthrough to feel like. And then once I have an idea of that feeling and like the difficulty progression and whatnot, then I start looking into randomization, right? But it's still gated by some like linear facet system. Um, yeah, I get it. I'm also neurodivergent, and I struggle with it a whole lot. Um, and just do what interests you. Like the only reason I'm able to hyper focus on this stuff is that I'm really interested in it. And if you don't enjoy it, then if you don't enjoy coding from that facet, there's other creative endeavors that are great, right? It doesn't have to be all about the coding aspect of it. It's just I just looked at, I guess, and I found something that society sees as beneficial, and I can be a productive member of society but still do creative things. So it's kind of worked out from that perspective. But yeah, a little crazy and obsessed with the level of code that I do. Takes sacrifice, but I love it. I really do. All right, I'll talk to y'all later on tonight. Hopefully, take care.